piece of land Urbana, Illinois has to offer. Prairie Park the site for tonight's crosstown rivalry matchup between the visiting Central Maroons and our Urbana Tigers. I'm Joey Wright, joined by Jason Liggett. And Jason, it's windy. It's a bit of a crisp day for baseball. Crosstown rivalry action. How do you see it playing out tonight?
Well, I think this wind will definitely be a factor, as you kind of mentioned that right now. We saw that last Urbana game out here as some of the balls carried into the outfield and shifted completely from center field to right field. I think this will be from center to left today.
Certainly. Jake Welbus on the mound, facing the first Maroons batter of the game, Patrick Beckemeyer. Kept saying tonight, but this game has actually been moved up. It was supposed to start at 4:30 this afternoon, but it's 4 o'clock and we're playing baseball.
That's right, and I think they're planning to get a doubleheader in tonight, as they had a game scheduled this coming Thursday as well, but they're going to double up on things as weather is a concern for Thursday as of right now. So we see strike two fired in there. It's a 1-2 count now on Beckemeyer.
Show me a game, as we have a foul ball down the first base side. Show me a game this year where the weather hasn't been a concern. I mean, this has been a rough spring in terms of rain and just it's been cold and it's been a bit of a nasty one.
Absolutely, and weather aside, the Tigers will have their work cut out for them tonight against the, seems like always the past few years, very hot team here in the Champaign Central Maroons. No different this year.
Chop to second, that's Zeke Brown. Brings it up with his body, he throws it over to Levi Coffey at first for the first out. Very different start to the game than what we saw 1 week ago as the Tigers battled Centennial. They gave up, I think, 5 runs in the first inning and ended up losing 15-0.
Yeah, the pitcher in that game had trouble finding the zone early on and walked a couple of batters and gave up a few hits there, and that's all she wrote, as the Tigers never did get anything going offensively.
Well, the pitcher was Jake Welbus. We've seen him each of the past 2 games we've covered on the mound. You go back 2 games ago, the Prairie Central game we did that Saturday morning. He was on it. Great performance from Welbus on the hill. Only gave up 1 run. The Tigers, their only win of the year so far, came in that game, a 2-1 victory. And then, of course, last Tuesday was the opposite of that. Not a very good performance at all from Welbus. He's got a 1-2 count to Thompson. And they're going to say that Trey King held onto it behind the plate. So 2 quick outs for Welbus. Looks like the Peoria Central will Jake tonight. Strike 1 to Cade Cisak, excuse me, the pitcher for Central. Right back at Jake, deflects off his glove. That'll be a base hit into center field. And as Cisak, the pitcher, with 2 outs, they'll bring in a courtesy runner. This will be number 13, Tommy Kraus. So with Kraus now on first base, it's Jake Beasley striding in. Beasley pops one high. This will get out of the infield. It's playable, and the catch is made by Tim King. That ends the top of the first. Tigers hold the Maroons to 0. And we go to the bottom of the frame, tied at 0.
Nice top half of the inning to get the game started there for the Tigers. As we saw in the game last week against Centennial, once they get some people on, the Tigers tend to keep getting people on, unfortunately. So nice that they were able to shut that one down, as cleanup hitter Jake Beasley popped out to shallow center field.
Certainly the Tigers, if they can keep the runners off base, as you mentioned, they will do just fine. A look at the batting order for Urbana. Leading off, made the final out in center there. In the top of the first, it's Tim King. Second in the order, Trey King, his brother behind the plate. Jake Welbus is on the mound. He bats third. Andrew Ellis at shortstop bats cleanup. Batting fifth, Levi Coffey at first. Then Dan Wachtel at third base bats sixth. Bottom three, Jordan Smith, James Trask, and Zeke Brown in right field, left field, and at second base, respectively. On the hill for the Maroons, Cade Seastack. As we await Tim to step up to the plate. Nothing to block the wind here at Prairie Park. We're in the middle of a field, so it is windy.
Well, and you mentioned this being the windiest place in Urbana. I think you're actually right. In downtown Urbana this afternoon, it looked like just about a perfect day. A little bit of a wind, but beautiful sun shining through. And I get out here, 3 minutes out, and it's practically a tornado and rain clouds in the sky. So
yeah. And Tim, this is going to go to short. An error, and Tim's looking for two here. Close play at second. Probably a lot closer than it should have been.
yeah, Tim thought I had a little bit more time there than he had, apparently. Didn't get down either, got in there standing up, but he is safe at second. So a slow rolling ground ball to short gets the Tigers their first base runner of the afternoon. Leadoff man Tim King is on second and in scoring position.
That was Tim Beckemeyer, who led off the game for Central with the throwing error. Now it's Trey King, the catcher for Urbana. Capable at the plate, fouls one off. On deck, Jake Welbus, and after him, Andrew Ellis. We should get to see them both. Oh, 1. Popped up. This will get out of play down the third base line.
Well, and the sun pops out, and it's like a completely different afternoon here, Joey.
Yeah, it did totally shift the lighting there. Oh, that was a risky move on Trey's part to lay off there. Outside, ball 1.
Yeah, just outside, but really in a good spot vertically.
Yeah, if you had called that a strike, I would not have been surprised. The 1-2 is fouled.
That's popped up in play.
Yeah, you got me. Gave blood earlier as I was talking to you talking with you about before the game, so maybe that's just in my head, you know, maybe I'm feeling fine, but they tell you should be a little lightheaded after you donate blood.
So Trey King pops out to Beckemeyer. Let's get the first out of the bottom of the first.
And upsets Jake Welbus. Welbus takes one in the dirt, ball 1. One and 0. And it'll be 1-1. I did get a free T-shirt out of the ordeal, so.
Well, there you go. You might as well give in your liver
Yeah.
for a free T-shirt.
I needed a free hoodie for that. 1-1. And make that 2-1. Tim on second. I wouldn't be too surprised if he tried to take 3 here. We'll see. He's got speed. Notable absences for Urbana today. No Luke Stevens, no Keegan Westfield. Strike 2. Two and 2 count. Andrew Ellis on deck. Grounded to second. This will at least advance Tim to third. It does that. Jake's out at first base. So it's Andrew Ellis with an RBI chance now. Andrew at shortstop this afternoon. Levi Coffey moves into the on-deck circle. Coffey at first base.
Well, and this is a big opportunity here for the Tigers in the bottom of the first. You really want to be able to strike first on these Maroons.
Certainly, it's been a rough year for these Tigers, so they're playing aggressively this afternoon. I can tell you that. Not much to lose for the Tigers. They're just coming out and trying to get a big win. It's 2-0. And well struck from Ellis into left field. It's going to get down over the head of the left fielder. And Ellis is going to get into second.
Yeah, and King had no trouble scoring on that one, obviously.
No.
I think he would have made it a close play at the plate from first. That was a very well-hit ball from Ellis.
Certainly, left fielder didn't take a very good route to it. And Urbana, their first run of the game, is the first run of the game for either side. It's 1-0 in favor of Urbana. Here's Levi. Levi, the first baseman, takes strike one. They're on the board. Yeah. 0-2 to Coffey. Dan Wachtel on deck. I'm surprised that Levi got that call. That looked like a strike to me. High. And the 1-2 pitch forthcoming. Blooped into center. It'll fall in front of the center fielder. Ellis is coming. No, he's looked like he was going to round third, and Hoffman held him up. A wise decision, I might add, as Ellis would have been cooked easily at the plate.
Yeah, the Maroons did a nice job of getting that ball in pretty quick. I'm actually surprised the center fielder out there didn't dive for that ball. But with the wind blowing the way that it is, it's sometimes tricky to see where that's at. But that took a real short hop right in front of his feet and into his glove.
Right off the bat, I didn't think he had a chance to get to it. And then it just kind of, the wind picked it up and it gave him a chance. And it's Dan Wachtel. Can give the Tigers, with as much power as he has, I mean, he could give them a 4-run lead here. You can tell he's taking some big cuts. It's 0-2. On deck would be Jordan Smith. Go to Dan, swing and a miss, strike three. That ends the first. Tigers had a run on Andrews' RBI double to left. Big early lead for the Tigers. It's 1-0 after one.
And Joey, we talked about the game just last Tuesday, where the Tigers certainly didn't have their best stuff. They lost 15-0 here at home, but then they went to Centennial's Field. Close ball game over there. 5-3, the final of that one.
Certainly,
so,
yeah.
Nice job rebounding for the Tigers in the same week, playing the same team. Not letting them shake them up. Would have loved to get that W over there at Centennial, but certainly good to see them be competitive after a team just clobbered them 2 nights earlier.
Yeah, it's never easy to rebound from those big losses, but certainly these guys kept their composure, and I think they realize that if they can keep it a game early, they've got the talent to hang around in these games. We'll see. We'll see if they use that mentality this afternoon. Second, third, and fourth innings, they're really going to be integral to deciding the outcome of this one. Tigers really can't allow Central to score more than 3 or 4 runs here. I don't believe. Offensively, the Tigers aren't great, and they're missing Luke Stevens this afternoon, in addition to Keegan Westfield, so those two hurt.
Well, you mentioned they're not great, but you wouldn't know it watching that first inning. They had some really good cuts at the plate and some well-placed fly balls out there.
Certainly, but over the course of the game, I think they average just over 2 runs per game over the course of the year if you look at the numbers. So, I mean...
Yeah, this certainly hasn't been their year offensively. But hopefully that bottom of the first inning, maybe that'll turn it all around.
Hopefully so. That's Joe Bagger reaching with a single here. Not the end of the world. Remember, Cade Sestak, he reached first in the first here, so they were able to hold him. That was with 2 outs. But we shall see Cam Robinson, right fielder. 6th in the order here, stands in.
Robinson, one of the 2 juniors on the team this year.
And this is popped up, should stay fair. Zeke Brown makes the play. And it was very nearly a double play. I'm not really sure what Bagger was doing there. He went, I mean, I guess he had to go halfway because that was shallow enough. They probably could have made the out at second had Zeke not caught that. But
well, he was able to get back to first safely.
Brings up Zach Hartlib.
Area baseball fans may recognize that last name. His father, coach of the Illinois baseball team, Dan Hartlib.
I don't know what that throw was. It's going to get past Ellis into center field. We might have a play. No, we're not going to have a play. Joe Bagger's got some speed.
Bagger finds his way to third. And with 1 out, the Maroons have an opportunity here to even up that scoreboard out there in center field.
It's 1-0 to Hartlib. And make it 1-1. The Illini doing about average this year, wouldn't you say? I think if you look at the record, they're...
Yeah, they're right there in the thick of things now as far as trying to make the Big Ten tournament. I believe the top 8 teams get in there. They had a rough start to the season. Probably lost some games they shouldn't have.
Hartlib's going to tie it up here. They've rebounded somewhat.
They have. They put together a nice stretch there. I know they won 9 of 12 games at one point, and weather's been a factor.
Certainly.
Last week they were in Minnesota.
Good hits here for the Maroons. Oh, Tim caught it. Got down and made the catch. I guess I spoke too soon. Hartlib gets back to first. And that's Isaac Heaton lining out to Tim in center.
Yeah, nice catch there from King in center field. Able to get down and scoop that ball up just in time. Record the second out of the inning and keep Hartlib on first.
Off the bat, that looked like it was going to get down, but Tim proved me wrong. No problem with that. Trey knocks it down. It'll be 2-0. This is Jake Cochran. We go back to the top of the order after this. If we need to, that skips past Brown at second. Didn't get too far past him. He did a good job of knocking it down.
Well, that's unfortunate there. That, you know, had he come up with that, not that they needed a double play, but, you know, you'd like to see those turned into that. That was hit right to him. He had the opportunity just to scoop that up and step on second, but wasn't able to come up with the ball.
And we go back to the top. Patrick Beckemeyer, number 2, is the shortstop, and Zeke's going to redeem himself for the third out of the top of the second. A liner right at him. He makes the grab, and we're tied at 1 after 1.5.
Maroons get one across the plate and leave a couple stranded there. The top of the second. 1-1 ball game. See if the Tigers can keep that offensive charm going here in the bottom of the second.
It'll be interesting. Leading off for the Tigers, Jordan Smith, James Trask, and Zeke Brown, the 7, 8, and 9 hitters due up for the U. Whew. And back out onto the mound goes Sestak. Some speed in these bottom hitters. Jordan Smith, James Trask, and Zeke Brown can all move, so if they can put one on the ground, watch out. As the wind blows in the background.
That wind really created some problems earlier for the grounds crew. Their chalk liner wasn't properly functioning, so they had to dig into the chalk bay and put it on by hand.
Oh, wow.
By doing that, it was kind of blowing all over the place.
Yeah, you can kind of see that down the third base line.
Third base
there,
line
yeah.
was tricky for them, but I think they got the hang of it down the first. But yeah,
Yeah.
they worked really hard to get that chalk line on there, so we'll know when it's fair or foul.
Certainly, I didn't arrive here until about 3:45. The game being moved up to 4 really messed up the routine I had planned. So I had to adjust and scurry over here, but I made it. I always make it. 1 and 2, and ball. It was tricky for Beckemeyer. It's at short. Jordan's got himself a base hit. Didn't look like it was hit with a ton of spin there off the bat. Smith with some speed at second. James Trask with some speed at the plate. James not a terrible hitter in his own right. Pickoff move over at first proves fruitless. Trask, number 24, a junior, in left field this afternoon. One and 0. Ooh, a liner right at third. This is going to be a double play. Not too much Jordan Smith could have done there at first. He went on contact, and unfortunately the ball found the glove of Thompson exactly.
There's a nice rip there by Trask, and Jordan Smith already well off the bag by that point, and they tossed it over to first for the double play.
Marshall Thompson to Hartleb for 2. It's 1 and 1. And now James is on foul ball duty. After lining out to third. Zeke Brown with 2 outs and a 1 and 2 count. Fouls one back. James Trask, if you're a longtime viewer, you'll remember he did color commentary for 2 football games last year, our sophomore year. 1-2. This is grounded to first. And Hartlib takes it to the bag himself for out number 3. That ends the second. Tied at 1 after 2. Hard to believe that in 4 or 5 months, those football games from our sophomore year will be almost 2 years ago, 2 calendar years.
Getting old, Joey. You're getting old.
Where does the time go? Leading off for Central, how about this Marshall Thompson? Followed by Sestak and Jake Beasley.
Thompson 0 for 1 on the day. Struck out in the first.
We will see if that play he made in the field will fire him up a little bit. Maybe it gives him a little momentum. And then Sestak, the pitcher, and Beasley, the left fielder, to follow. First pitch to Thompson. Strike 1. And this might stay fair. It does. That's trouble. Marshall Thompson looking for 2. He looked to try to stretch it to 3, but he's going to hold up at second. So Marshall Thompson does feed off that play in the field and leads off with a double.
Double to left field out there, and rolled into the corner too. I thought it may be trouble. Able to hold him to the second. There's another one to left field.
It's going to take a good throw to get him, and in fact, it gets under the glove of James. So Central's going to take their first lead of the game. Thompson scores from second, and it's Sestak with an RBI double.
Going to bring up Jake Beasley to the plate. Beasley 0 for 1 on the day. He popped out to center field back in the first.
Big situation here for the Tigers because it's situations like this when things tend to fall apart. I think Jake's got to get this out here. Jake Beasley. And it's chopped foul down the line. 1 ball, 1 strike.
3-sport athlete here in Beasley, as we remember calling his name quite a bit on the football field and certainly on the basketball court.
No play at first, in fact, as Beasley's able to beat it out. Dan Wachtel was not in time.
Yeah, it would have been nice if Wachtel was able to scoop that up and might have been able to beat that lead runner to third.
Brings up Joe Bagger. Remember, Bagger had that single. Got to third. No, I think he was the run that scored. I didn't put that on my card, but Bagger scored the first run of the game for the Maroons. Pops one up. This will go foul, which is unfortunate. That's out of play foul, which is unfortunate because Beasley was in motion for second. So it's 0-1 to Bagger. And it's knocked down by Trey. Beasley will take second. As the wind intensifies. 1-1. Foul tipped into the glove of Trey King. 1-2. 1-2, right back at Jake. He can't make the play. Into center field it goes. It brings one home. Here comes another good throw to Trey, but it's not in time. In fact, it was a little off center as well. And the Maroons up 4-1. pulled Trey off to the left, but it wasn't going to be an out anyways.
Well, if he would have gotten that to the plate, I think he would have gotten the out.
It would have been close. That was Jake Beasley coming home, the second run to score. Joe Bagger, an RBI double. Cam Robinson up at the plate.
And these are the innings the Tigers have to be careful with. And already 3 runs across the plate. Another runner in scoring position and no out. That one popped up in the infield. Should be caught. And it is. Wachtel comes up with that one.
Looked like Jake was going for it, but Dan came over, made the play. So an F5 for Cam Robinson brings up Zach Hartleb with 1 out. Outside. So Joe, as a car goes off in the parking lot. See if Bagger looks at 3. We know he's got some speed. It's in the dirt, and Joe Bagger will, in fact, get to third easily.
Hartleb with an RBI single last inning. Prime spot to do that again.
You know that's high. On deck after Hartleb would be Isaac Heaton. 3-0. That's way high. This might score Bagger from third at will. Throw to Welbus not in time. The 5th run to come across in the game. 4th of the inning. Tigers down 5-1 as Hartleb draws the walk. Brings Isaac Heaton to the plate.
Yeah, that pitch rolled to the backstop and then bounced back. I thought the Tigers might be able to get him out at home, but didn't bounce back enough. You see that ball get away from first base, and Hartleb on his way to third in there safely.
Yeah, that squirted past the glove of Coffee. And with only 1 out, the Maroons have a runner at third. Coach Hoffman's going to make a trip to the mound. Don't think they'll make a change, but we'll see. I think Tim King is the designated reliever tonight for the Tigers. See if that's how they play it. No change for the Tigers. Hartleb still on third, Heaton at the plate. First pitch after the visit in the dirt, blocked by Trey. 1-0. Chop to Dan. Dan fields it quickly. He's got a good arm, and he makes the, oh! In my book, Zach Hartleb tagged out there. I guess maybe he got in under the tag, but a good throw from Dan. Probably should have been out number 2. But, you know, I'm a little woozy this afternoon. How'd that look to you?
I thought that was an out, but certainly the umpire has a little bit better view on it than we do.
Certainly. I suppose I'm in the wrong, because if that was an out, we would have seen Gino stand in.
Elliott Brown in on first base as he's going to run the bases.
Indeed, Isaac Heaton, the catcher for the Maroons, so he'll come out. Dan again, fields it again, throw to second in time, throw to first is not. Tough throw for Coffee to field, but he's able to get in front of it and knock it down. So Jake Cochran aboard at first, and we're back to the top of the order, Patrick Beckemeyer. Ninth Maroon to bat in the top of the third. Hasn't been the inning the Tigers want. But if they can get this third out, they're only down 5.
Yeah, it's been a long top of the third inning here.
Thompson, Sestak, Beasley, Bagger, and Hartlib have all come across. Isaac Heaton reached first, as did, of course, Jake Cochran. So every Maroon, except Cam Robinson, who has hit in this inning, has reached base. Robinson, remember, flew out to Dan. 3-1, and it's a walk. So Beckemeyer aboard on balls. That'll bring up Marshall Thompson. Thompson led off with a double, later scored. And playable and left, we'll see. Play is made. James Trask records the third out of the top of the third.
So the Maroons bat around, and they get 5 across the plate as they take a 6-1 lead going into the bottom of the third. Tigers got some runs to make up.
That they do. I mean, we'll see if they can show some resilience and fight back. Looks like they're conferring outside of their dugout. Their battle strategy. First batter will be for Urbana.
Tim King.
Tim King, top of the order. Tim King, Trey King, and Jake Welbus, the 3 we will see for sure. And then Andrew Ellis, Levi Coffey, and Dan Wackel, the next 3. Wish that sun would stay out.
You and me both.
Sun feels, oh, and I was going to say that it begins to go behind the cloud. That sun feels so good.
Tim King reached first base on error back in the first and came around to score. Tigers' lone run.
King really needs to start something for Urbana. First pitch of the bottom of the third is popped up foul. Out of play. Almost directly behind where we're sitting. Here's the 0-1. And another one to a similar location behind us. It's 0-2. One and 2. If we get a situation, as I encountered on Thursday at the softball game, where we get a foul ball hit to our table, I don't know if I've got the energy to find it and get out of the way, so we're going to have to chalk that up as an L. I hope we don't encounter a situation like that. This is, they're going to say that was strike 3. And Tim reaches first. I guess that was smart on his behalf to swing there. Because that allows him to reach first. So Trey King stands in. Remember, Trey in the first flew out right back to the mound. High heat from Sestak. It's 1-0. 1-0, move to first. Nothing cooking there. And here we go with the 1-0. In the zone, throw over to first, not in time. In the zone, I thought I saw the umpire gesture for a strike, but scoreboard says ball 2. It's 2-0. And it's fouled back. It'll be 2-1. On deck, Jake Welbus, who retrieved that foul ball. Three balls and 1 strike. It's out of the zone. Ball 4. Trey takes his base.
So runners on first and second here for the Tigers with no out. Welbus up to the plate.
Welbus grounded to second in his first at-bat. That was fouled off. I wasn't sure where it was going. I saw it tipped and precautionarily stuck my hand up. It's 0-1. Strike 2, so Welbus has to battle here. On deck is Andrew Ellis. Andrew drove in Urbana's lone run to this point with a double in the first. High, ball 1. Sestak gets ready. The 1-2 is well struck into right. This is going to get down. Might score Tim. Tim's coming home, and he's safe. Jake Welbus, an RBI single, drives home Tim King. Trey King moves to third, and Andrew Ellis will stride in with runners at the corners. And our deficit's been trimmed to 4. Well, that's what the Tigers needed. Jake Welbus is going to stay in and run himself. The Tigers only have 1 player on the bench this afternoon, and that's John Gidritis is, in fact, going to come into the game. He's the 1 player on the bench for the Tigers this afternoon. Trey King, the catcher, runs for himself. And with no outs, here's Ellis. It's 0-1. On deck, Levi Coffey, who hit a single in the first. 0-1 forthcoming, and it's outside, ball 1. In the dirt. So we'll do it again with a 1-1 count. Wind won't go away, but it's blowing out. I should point that out. It's blowing towards the outfield fences, so that might help Andrew because he can give it a ride. And it's 2-2. Gidritis at first, Trey King at third. 2-2 to Ellis. This is outside, and the count is full. Still no outs. Good opportunity for Urbana. Here we go, full count. Fouled away, right back to the backstop. Coffee roams over, he'll retrieve it. And another 3-2. In motion was Gidritis to second. He's out. Throw is going to get past Hartlib at first. Ellis won't try two. Scores Trey King from third, and it's 6-3. The scoreboard incorrectly attributes it as a point to the Maroons. I guess it'd be attributes, but in any case, it's 6-3, still favoring Central.
So Ellis 2 for 2 on the day, as he had a RBI double in the first and just came up with an RBI single right there.
Levi Coffey pops one up. This will be playable behind the plate for out number 2.
Wachtel back up to the plate. Wachtel saw 3 pitches first time around and went down swinging, as he's 0 for 1 on the day with a strikeout in the first.
First pitch is outside, ball 1. Andrew more than likely will not try and take second here. High ball 2. And now the scoreboard's going to have whoever's running the scoreboard in there is going to have a fun time trying to correct it back to 6-3. We've seen them struggle with the scoreboard throughout the season. They're actually correct. It is 7-3. So I was wrong. Andrew is going to try and take second, and he's in. So proved me wrong. Guess it's just been one of those games. With 2 outs, Dan has a runner at second.
Tipped that one straight back.
That's Jordan Smith who moved over to retrieve it from the on-deck circle. Smith reached base in his first at-bat, but it's Dan right now taking ball 2. Dan, remember, struck out in the first. Twos all around. He strikes out for out number 3. That ends the third. After 3, Central 7, Urbana 3 as we move to the 4th.
Yeah, Tigers leave one stranded out there, and Andrew Ellis at second base, as he came up with an RBI single, as did Jake Welbus in the bottom of the third. Resulted in Urbana's 2 runs, and the trail by 4 now. It's a 7-3 ball game. Cade Sestak up for the Maroons. Cade 2 for 2 on the day with a single and an RBI double.
It'll be Sestak and then Jake Beasley and Joe Bagger. Lots of Tigers teams in action today. I know softball playing at home against Peoria Central right now. I believe track was up to something. Soccer, I think, was in action as well. And I know boys tennis was going at it as well. Nice job by Coffey to come up, make the play, and tag Sestak for out number 1. Brings up Jake Beasley. No one on, 1 out. Beasley, it's outside ball 1. In the dirt, ball 2. Skips past Trey King. Brings up 3-0. And drawing a walk is Jake Beasley. He reaches first. 1 out chance for Joe Bagger. Bagger has had himself a successful game, 2 for 2. Scored both times he's reached base.
Yeah, he had a single back in the 2nd inning, and then just last inning, an RBI double for Bagger. He did a nice job speeding around those bases as well.
Certainly very speedy. Pickoff attempt to Beasley at first. No action there. In the dirt, skips past Trey King, and a free pass to second. He's looking for 3 is Beasley. He's there. Jake Beasley all the way from first to third on the passed ball. Good base running from him. Makes Joe Bagger's job a little bit easier. Ball and no strikes. Nearly the same pitch we saw last time. Trey was able to stop it. 2-0 count. Chopped foul. Retrieved in the on-deck circle by Cam Robinson. Robinson on deck. 2-1 to Bagger. And he sends one out to Tim. Tim makes the play, but without much ease, or without much of a problem. With ease is Jake Beasley coming home from third.
Yeah, we see that extra stolen base there by Beasley came up big there, as he's able to trot home for the first run in this inning and 7th or 8th of the ball game for the Maroons. They take a 5-run lead, 8-3 in the top of the 4th.
So it's Robinson. Robinson 0 for 2. Hasn't been his game to this point. Pitch inside that he has to get out of the way of. 2-1. Diving effort from Zeke Brown. He can't get there. And up with it in center is Tim. He'll make the throw back into Zeke. Robinson, a base hit. Breaks through. And Zach Hartlib will stride in. Hartlib, his first pitch is lined to center. Tim scoops it, makes the play, and he'll hold Robinson at second. It's hit hard enough to Tim where he could do that and not allow the runner to get to third. Isaac Keaton due up. In the dirt, ball 1. balls and no strikes. Two balls and one strike. On deck is Jake Cochran. And this is flied into left. Over to make the play is James Trask for out number 3. Maroons tack on 1. Leave 2 runners on, and after 3.5, it's Maroons 7, Urbana 3. Due up for the Maroons when they bat next will be Jake Cochran. And due up for Urbana right now, Jordan Smith. In the first inning, Tim through Dan batted. In the second, Jordan through Zeke batted. In the third inning, it was Tim through Dan again. And in the fourth, we're guaranteed to see at least Jordan, James, and Zeke. I see Dan playing catch with someone beyond the Tigers dugout on the first base line. Not totally sure as to whom. I've got to say, though, the sun is out, and for now it feels really good. Occasional breeze here and there, but it feels a lot better than it did just a few moments ago. When the breeze was there, the sun was not. Jordan reached base his last time, but then you'll remember it was James who hit a rocket to third that was fielded and thrown to first for a double play. Zeke grounded to third, or rather to first, excuse me, for his out. In any case, the Tigers looking for 4 runs to tie it up or 5 runs to take the lead. As we're about halfway through this one at Prairie Park in Urbana, Illinois. Jordan Smith, the batter. Popped up. This will be playable, and the play is made by the shortstop, Beckemeyer. 1 away, here's James Trask. James, remember, lined into that double play in the second inning, and here he is looking at strike 1. 0-1 with an out. Strike number 2 to number 2-4. 0-2. Outside ball 1. Or 1-2, excuse me. This is popped to right back to C-Stack for out number 2. Brings up Zeke Brown. And this is lined to right, a diving catch. Oh, they're going to say he dropped it. They originally called him out, and Zeke is going to get tagged out at second anyways. An odd sequence of events. The catch was made in right by Cam Robinson. The umpire signaled for an out, then the ball squirted out of the glove of Robinson. Zeke kept going, went to second, but was tagged out there anyways. So, bit of an odd third out. ground. I don't even know what to score that as. I guess I'll... Yeah. Okay. Bit of an interesting trend if you look for Urbana. First inning, it was, as I mentioned, Tim through Dan, the first 6 batters. 7, 8, and 9 batters. Jordan Smith, James Trask, and Zeke Brown batted in the second. Then it was 1 through 6 again in the third, but in the fourth, 7 through 9 again. We'll see Tim King lead off the 5th. But to get to the bottom of the 5th, we have to go through the top of the 5th, and leading that off for Central, Jake Cochran. Jake Cochran, second baseman, number 29. Still on the mound for the Tigers, Jake Weldis. No substitutions to this point for Urbana. Yeah, I mentioned earlier they've only got 1 bench player, John Gudritis. They've got some key absences tonight, including Luke Stevens and Keegan Westfield. First batter, Anthony Schreiber is in for Central. He's number 23. Schreiber in for Cochran. This is popped to, well, we'll see who plays it. James Trask comes over and makes the play. And now we go back to the top of the order, Patrick Beckemeyer for Central. Beckemeyer tries to drop down a bunt, can't do so. 1-0. Beckemeyer 0 for 2 with a walk to this point. His last plate appearance came in the 3rd. 1 out, we'll see how he can battle here. Not a bad outing from Jake Weldis to this point. He's behind 3-0 right now, but already has an out. It hasn't been terrible with runners on. This is grounded, blocked by Zeke. Throw to first is in time. He recovered nicely, and Zeke Brown to Levi Coffey for out number 2. Sun's back into hiding. Marshall Thompson. Right to James Trask for the 3rd out. 1, 2, 3 go the Maroons. Cade Sestak will lead off the 6th for Central, but first we go to the bottom of the 5th, and Tim King set to lead things off for the Tigers. Tigers still down 4. They need to get something going. Tim, Trey, and Jake set to bat for U-Town. Tim has scored twice to this point. Both times he's gotten on base, he's come around. It's wind, man. Not a fan.
Yeah, last time Tim King reached base on a past strike 3.
That's right. First pitch is in there, strike 1.
And the first time that he reached base this afternoon, it was on an error. So not pretty both times, but got the job done.
Yeah, that's pretty. Down the third base line and fair. He's looking to get 2 out of it. He's going to go. He's going to test it. And there's not really much to test, in fact. Not fielded especially cleanly and left. So Tim with a double. He heard you.
So a good leadoff hit there for the Tigers. And see if Trey King can capitalize on that. Trey 0 for 1 on the day with a walk.
Jake Welbus on deck in the heart of the order, due up for Urbana. So we'll see if Trey can keep this going and give Jake and Andrew something to work with. Trey steps out. He's going to take some practice cuts. One ball and no strikes. And a lined shot foul down the third base line and out of play.
Tigers have made more contact in this game with the ball than I've seen them make all season long.
That's accurate. I think the most runs they've scored in a game this year is 7. Don't hold me to that. But
well, I wasn't at that one.
Well, I don't even know if I was either. But you know they're making contact, as you mentioned, fouling them off and fighting in the count. So it's that's how you start. 2-2 to Trey here. Well struck into left. This is not going to fall, and Tim's in trouble. Throw to second in time, a double play.
Yeah, a little bit too far off the bag there for a ball still in the air going in the outfield. Tim needed to stay a little closer to second and wasn't able to do so. Temptation lured him away.
Yeah,
so what started off like a nice inning for the Tigers, now they're got 2 outs on the board.
Second time the Tigers have flown into a double play in this one. You remember James Trask did so earlier. 0-1. Grounded meekly to short. And Welbus, who's a pretty good shortstop in his own right, rounds out to the shortstop Beckemeyer for out number 3. Tigers end up going down 1-2-3. To the 6th inning we go. We're moving along. 7-3 our score.
Well, the Tigers got 1 across the plate in the first, none in the second, 2 in the third, none in the fourth, none in the fifth. And those times that they got none across the plate, they only got 3 batters to the plate. So when they're able to string some hits together, they score. They're not stranded on third too often this game.
Certainly, and they're well within striking distance here. We've still got 2 innings left to play. If the wind would just stop, I'd be pretty happy.
I don't think you're going to be happy today, Joey. I don't think it plans to stop.
No, unfortunately not.
Kate Sestak up to the plate. Going to lead things off here in the top of the 6th for the Maroons. He's 2 for 3 on the day with a single and an RBI double.
Scored in the 3rd. Sestak number 5. First pitch from Welbus. is high, ball one. Second pitch is in the dirt, ball two. And a Texas leaguer into the outfield falls. Sestak aboard with a single. Courtesy runner is going to come in. That's number 13, Tommy Kraus. We saw him run in the first. Well struck, but foul from Jake Beasley. Grounded to Zeke Brown. We'll see if they turn it. They tag Kraus. It's on his way to second. So he's out, but they can't make the play at first to get Beasley. That's one way to do it. Joe Bagger set to stride in for the Maroons. Popped up. Over to make the play is Tim from center. And with Beasley on first and 2 outs, it's Cam Robinson. Robinson, 1 for 3. Single was last time up in the fourth. Popped foul down the first base side, and a near collision from Trey and Levi there, but Coffey makes the play. That's the third out at the top of the sixth.
Some of the Maroons leave one stranded, get none across the plate. So we head to the bottom of the sixth now. 7-3 ball game. Did we decide that's right? 7?
7, I believe, is the, yes. Count them up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait.
I think they actually scored 5 in the third, but the scoreboard is crediting them for 6, and they scored 1 in a later inning that the scoreboard isn't crediting them for. So the total's the same, 7-3.
Yep.
Tigers trail by 4 and have 6 outs to make that up here.
Ideally, we can string together a few runs here and then close it out in the top of the 7th.
Let's start it off here with Andrew Ellis. Ellis has had a good afternoon. 2 for 2 on the day. An RBI double in the first and an RBI single in the third. Unless he plans to hit a home run here, I don't think he's going to pick up the RBI.
Huh. He can, I mean, I mentioned earlier that the wind was blowing out. I think it's kind of shifted a little bit. I don't think it's blowing out to the extent that it was earlier. But you never know. Grounded between short and third. Ellis with a single to lead off the 6th. No update as to how the softball team is doing, but I know they defeated Centennial 20-2 last night, and they're playing a Peoria Central team that, by most accounts, is of a comparable skill level. That's what I'm told. So
Comparable to Centennial, or
to
comparable
Centennial,
to
yes.
okay.
Yeah. 20-2.
Some vengeance for the baseball team, I suppose.
Yeah, after last Tuesday. This is grounded to short. And a double play. I'm not sold that Levi was out at first there. In any case, the old 6 for 3 turn. 2 away for Dan Wachtel.
Wachtel 0 for 2 on the day.
1-0. I believe Lauren Matson yesterday had 9 RBIs.
Oh, wow. That's got to be a record, right?
Think. It's
Get Waller to the stat room.
yeah. No kidding. 2-0 to Dan. That, yeah. By all accounts, not a very good game for Centennial.
Did she get a grand slam in there? Bases clearing triple or
Yeah,
something? I assume 22. I imagine they just played 5 innings then.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I imagine in those 5 innings they batted around several times.
Right place at the right time, perhaps.
Yeah. And the throw to, blank on the name, that's Hartleb for the 3rd out. Remember, we are playing 2. We're only covering the first game of the doubleheader this afternoon and evening, but it'll be interesting to see how hard the Tigers go, knowing they'll have another opportunity to get a win in game 2. Certainly, I mean, this is within their reach. But you know, you don't want to waste all your energy fighting in this one if things don't go their way here at the top of the 7th. I just need to eat some food. I didn't really do a very good job of that after I gave blood. So.
And get something from the concession stand.
Doesn't exist, yeah. It's okay, so my plan was, you know, it's dollar sub day at Jimmy John's. I was going to run, I guess it didn't start until 4, so I probably wouldn't have been able to make it in the first place, but I might go afterwards. Could have eaten something.
You'll be down to $8 after that trip, huh?
Well, I've only got, yeah, it's well documented that my bank account is struggling, but I'm not going to use my debit card if I can avoid it. I'm not going to run it down to 0. But at this point, I mean, I know where I am, but I don't know if you can say much beyond that.
Hartleb 2 for 2 on the day with a walk. RBI single back in the 2nd and a single in the 4th.
Knocked down by Brown, and the throw to Jake Welbus is in time. It's Levi Coffey on the mound for Urbana. They say you shouldn't drink caffeine after you give blood, but I disregarded that. Got a polar pop.
Well, what do they know? They're only medical professionals. You're Joey Wright.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, do as I please. And that's out of play behind the backstop there. And my doctor is WebMD. And a strikeout for Levi Coffey. Isaac Heaton goes down. That'll bring in Jake Cochran. The thing I don't like about WebMD is that it always tends to overreact. You go to that symptom checker thing, and it'll give you the worst case scenario.
I want you to double check it with a real doctor.
Well, yeah, it's a conspiracy. It's just how the doctors make money. check that 2-1. Cochran has reached base twice to this point. Both times stranded at first. And a chopper to the shortstop. The shortstop is Ellis. That didn't change. And the Tigers go into the bottom half of the 7th with a chance to come back here. They're down 4. 7-3.
Do or die time here for the Tigers as Coffey pitches a nice half inning there at the top of the 7th. And you look back to that 3rd inning, Joey. It's a 5-run 3rd inning. And that was big for the Maroons.
We'd be up right now if you take that away. Game would be over.
If only you could.
Yeah. I wrote F on the scorecard. I was trying to write 6. I'm trying to figure out how I can turn it into a 6. There we go.
A whiteout.
Oh, wish we had some whiteout. That's good stuff. Or use a pencil. There you go. Bad news is for Urbana. It's Jordan Smith, James Trask, and Zeke Brown standing in. Well, I guess I'm not calling them out like it sounds like I am, but they are the bottom 3 in the order today. And
well, Smith 1 for 2 on the day. He had a single back in the 2nd.
Certainly. But the thing is with these 3 guys is they each batted in the 2nd, they each batted in the 4th. Those are the only 2 innings that they've hit in. And every time we lead off with Jordan Smith so far in this game, it's ended with Zeke Brown.
Time to break the trend.
Yeah. I love looking at trends. I've got to tell you.
He goes golfing for that one. Doesn't come up with it.
Taps low and inside. So it's 0-2. And make it 0-3, a strikeout for Jordan Smith. Brings up James Trask. Trask can hit. I mean, no absence of talent in these 3 hitters. Let's see what James can do. That was fouled off the umpire there. That was off his shoulder. Collarbone, it looks like. And he is down.
I don't think James is even aware that came off of him.
Yeah. Coach Hoffman's going to come over and see what the deal is. Both coaches do, I should point out. Looks like a lighthearted conversation there. The other umpire's laughing at him.
Look it up on WebMD.
Yeah. Yeah. WebMD will say he broke his neck or something. So it's 0-1 to James Trask. Looks like Blue's okay there, so certainly I'm a member of the umpire brotherhood myself, so never nice to see another one of our members in pain. I don't know, brothers. I don't know what you'd. In any case, James Trask puts one into this one. This is going to get to the wall, or to the warning track at least, and Trask holds up at second with a double. So Zeke Brown will have a runner in scoring position with 1 out. Would each individual member of a brotherhood be a brother? I don't know, or would they be?
I think that's how it works.
Okay. It would make sense. Tim King on deck. Fouled out of play beyond the bleachers.
This is a big bat at right now for Zeke Brown, if he's able to reach base here. Have Tim King come up. King, 3 for 3 on the day. Well, I guess that one he reached for space on a strikeout, but
this is going to get past the catcher here. So now we've got a situation with a runner on third and 1 out. If Zeke can draw a walk, that'd be huge. But I guess a base hit would be even bigger because it would bring Trask home. One ball, one strike. In the dirt ball, 2. Tim, Trey, and Jake, the next 3 batters due up. This is put in foul territory. It's playable. Ooh, and a near collision between Sestak and Hartlib, but it's Sestak who holds on to it. So now 2 away for Tim King with a runner at second.
so the Tigers down to their final out here in the first game of this doubleheader.
Runner at third, excuse me. And Jason, certainly some momentum for the Tigers that they can take into the second game, no matter what. So 1 to Tim, he fouled that one off to us.
Tim with a double back in the 5th.
And he grounds one to third. This could be it. The throw across the diamond is in time. And that ends game 1, and thus our coverage of Tigers baseball this afternoon. The Tigers go down 7-3. Final thoughts?
Well, really, overall, a well-played game by the Tigers. Offensively, I said that they've looked, at times, some of the best that I've seen them this season. Unfortunately, you go back to that 3rd inning where they give up 5 runs, and tough to do that in any ball game, but especially a lower-scoring one as it was today.
Certainly. So our final score once again, Central 7, Urbana 3. Our next broadcast is May 11th. That's softball against Danville, I believe. So that'll be a fun one to see on the softball diamond on the campus of Urbana High School. For the whole crew, you're Jason Liggett. I'm Joey Wright. Thanks for tuning into this presentation of Tigers Baseball on the Tigers Media Network.